You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
The Herons are champs. Yeah. Roll south to Freedom Park, rocking pink and black. Official tissue in the 305, bounty full of grapes. The Battered Fam with Chris and Dan dropping hot takes. Messi and the Herons start the season with a star on the crest, so 29 fan bases can cry, cause we the best. Sign homegrowns like Noah, Frey and Ruiz, replacing goats with greats. Yeah, Miles got the cheese and he called it. Freedom to dream was the backbone. From Lockhart to Miami, it feels good to be at home. Multiple times a week on YouTube and audio. Take the time to subscribe, like and share the show, so check and chat. Grab your MLS Cup and coming, no question about it, I'm ready to get a star again.
No question about it, I am ready to get hurt again.
Danny, the Herons are back. Welcome to another episode of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Chris Duran, and alongside me is a brick wall because Danny has not arrived yet. But thank you guys in the chat for hanging out and waiting for us. I know we're a little late. Thank you, Hall Monitors. Soccer Daddy letting us know 30 minutes late. And I'm sure Mr. Krabs has something here. Let me see. I can't find Mr. Krabs' message anywhere, but I'm sure it's somewhere in there. So much appreciated. Yes, Stancy, a little. Listen, 30 minutes is a little in my clock. Okay. Danny is not sleeping. He is MIA though, Tony Miami. And but he's gonna get on pretty shortly. And we got a guest. We're gonna be talking a little bit. We're gonna be previewing Inter Miami versus LAFC. But there's a comment that I wanted to get to that I read. I read it while we were prepping here, and I can't find it here. Mike V ended up posting it, and I can't find it, but it's somewhere around here. Oh, okay, I found it. Mike V saying Miami-Dade Transit gives free Ubers to the train station, just FYI. This is interesting because, and I hope you're talking about from the train station like on game days, because this would be fantastic. Because I'm down south, I was considering on taking the train from the Kendall stop and taking it up to the airport and then going to the game that way instead of driving out there, even though it's like 20-30 minutes. But for the most part, that's what I was thinking about doing. Mike B is saying they have always had it. Okay. All right. That's interesting. Something to look forward to for any of you that are, considering going to Miami Freedom Park after April 4th. I guess that's going to be a good option. So that's for sure. Yes, Lucho, meet me at the Metro and we will pregame. Dadeland South Station. No, you know what? Dadeland North Station. Meet me there and we'll go ahead and we'll pregame. But we're not going to talk about pregaming just yet. That game isn't going to happen for another month and a half. We're going to get started talking about the first game for both LAFC and Inter Miami, which is a big one. It's going to be this Saturday, I believe at 9 or 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm looking hella forward to it. And it's going to be a big one. It's going to be played at the Coliseum. I'm sure it's going to be a packed stadium. So let's go ahead and bring on our boy, Eric from Section 128. Eric, hey. How's it going, my friend?
Good, man. I love you dropping hella in there, going some West Coast slang for this game.
Yeah, no, listen, I talk to people from California all the time. So, like, I hear the slang. So it pops off every now and then, for sure.
Nice.
And just before we start talking about, like, the preview and all that stuff, like, I'm sure that this game is going to be a sellout, right?
Yeah. It'll be a sellout. Now, with every sellout, there's always the empty tickets because there's always the scalpers that put them in there and people don't always, pick them up. So, it'll be interesting to see, but they've sold all the tickets. Whether all the butts show up in the seats for those tickets is a whole nother question, but MLS got its money.
No, absolutely. And there's people here in the chat that actually are going to be going to the game. So they're going to enjoy being able to, and that's going to be fantastic. It's got to be a crazy experience to be able to watch it there.
One of the things and people visiting is we have great tailgates at LAFC, and the Coliseum is basically right next door to
Yeah.
BMO. And typically for our game, it's 22,000 plus people. The capacity is officially 22, but they'll get up to like 22.7, 22.8.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tailgate for 65,000 in the same place. So that alone is going to be insane. But we always have great tailgates, and it's they're a little more rowdy than most teams' tailgates, but it's a pretty friendly environment still.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, and it's going to be a big game. It's going to be an enjoyable game. I thought that maybe the turnout would have been a little shaky, considering because of Messi's injury and just because LA, star-studded. It's going to be because of Son versus Messi, huge game, but no, I mean Messi's been actually practicing with the team, and it seems like everything is kind of working out well at the moment. But as far as like the way that you guys are structured, and you guys recently played a game against Real España
yesterday,
totally clobbered them 6-1. And look, I mean, aside from playing Real España, right? It might not be MLS quality team. That's a slacking to look after, no?
No, 100%. And like LAFC, Miami's one of the newer teams in the league. But for those who've been paying attention to the league a little longer, there's a term that's called to get Concacaf. And this is always something when you go down to Central America for these games, you end up playing, players that this is the game of their life. You go to stadiums where the fields aren't necessarily great. Yeah. You have dogs running onto the fields all the time, like, all the wackiness of Central American soccer. So these are always something you have to keep in mind. Not to mention sometimes you get like some goofy Panamanian ref that just completely blows calls. But so this is always a concern with these matches is you can go and all kinds of crazy randomness can happen. You can get CONCACAF, but we went down there and took care of business. And for us, what a great thing to see. It's what's supposed to happen.
Now, as far as like the starting 11 is concerned, right? MLS posted up a projected starting 11 to preview the season. And then you guys put up a starting 11 that's somewhat similar against Real España. Do you see that starting 11 being pretty concrete and probably playing on this Saturday's game?
I think there's a decent chance this starting 11 starts. There might be a couple changes to the back line. I think Hollingshead didn't start. They might go with him. I know Mark DeSantos, we've interviewed him on our show, and he's been really good at doing interviews as he started. He's not as big of a fan of the three center backs as Trundle was. And so we might see more two center back combinations, which is the one position we're thin on, as Aaron Long has an Achilles injury until probably halfway through the season. But Ryan Porteous, who we picked up, Scottish player, has been phenomenal and as good as any center back in this league so far. So, that it should be pretty similar. I think the front six is going to be the same. Possibly Nathan Ordaz instead of Martinez, but I think it's going to be Martinez myself. And like I said, the back line, we may see Hollingshead in there instead of Tafari.
Now, there's an interesting question coming in, and Soccer Daddy's asking, Eric, thoughts on new coach, because I hated that guy in Vancouver.
Yeah, well, I mean, one game in, he has a +5 differential, so you can't really get too upset about that. I think for MDS, this is
time.
And I went over this with my co-host as well, who's a Brazilian and speaks Portuguese, and Mark Dos Santos' preferred language is Portuguese. He speaks 5.
Yeah.
One of the things with that Miami team is there was 13 different nationalities on that team when he walked into it. And so it was kind of a mess when he got there to begin with. The personnel didn't really make any sense. So I can understand a lot of Vancouver fans hated him because he was horrible up there. But he was at LAFC before that, LAFC after that. We've kind of seen a little bit of in what we've seen so far, kind of a few little Bob Bradley pieces into that, because he was an assistant under Bob Bradley as well. And,
Yeah.
if he can blend the Cherundolo scheme with the Bob Bradley scheme, we could have a really great team. I will say his press conferences as well are 100 times better than Cherundolo. He actually talks. He tells you what he's thinking about things. He doesn't just kind of keep everything to the chest and have that little arrogance about him, which is what I found off-putting. But so pretty happy with him. I know a lot of fans wanted a bigger swing on that one, but good continuity, and so far so good. We'll see, because we have a real opponent coming up Saturday.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, like I said, I think that it's going to take some time. One game isn't just going to give you the be-all, end-all. Now, John Paul Terrazas is asking here, Eric, I'm going to the game. How and where do I see the tailgating? Never been to a game.
The tailgate area is a place called Christmas Tree Lane. It's right in front of BMO Stadium. It'll be there. It's kind of just a big grass field in front of that stadium, and the lengthwise of it goes right to the entrance of the Coliseum. Like, the two places are basically diagonal from each other, and they share a kind of a big tailgate field in front. So it should be pretty easy. Go early. Traffic will be a little crazy. Traffic's always crazy in LA, but Miami, you guys got crazy traffic too, so it won't be too terrible.
Yeah, and Alex is asking, is Messi playing for sure? And SPH answering, yup, he is. Guys, this is going to be the first game of the season against LAFC. There's no way he's not playing this game. But speaking of that, because Messi got injured, and that is one of the people that we were worried about that's injured. At this moment, the only person that's registered somewhat, injured and not going to be able to play is Reguilon. Is there anybody injured on the LAFC side?
I mean, Jeremy Obobasi, we have injured, but nobody in our best 11, and probably nobody even who you can consider like our best 14 or 15. He's kind of a reserve player to begin with. So, no, we're pretty much full strength right now.
Now, as far as like strengths are concerned, look, everybody looks at the top two at Son, Bouanga, and even adding Martinez. You guys are pretty good across the board, but give me a strength, I guess, that we should watch out for, and also, I guess, like a weakness.
Well, the strength is going to be, is going to be Martinez. And, I've said previous in our show, I think LAFC's success this season is going to depend on David Martinez taking the next step. He is the most expensive player ever transferred out of Venezuela. And everybody knows Venezuela's really starting to have some really good players up there.
Oh, yes.
Very creative. His preseason game at Coachella, he had a fantastic assist to Bouanga. And this last game yesterday, he drew a penalty 50 seconds into the game. And it was a legit penalty, and it was a hustle penalty. He was basically at a 50-50 with the defender shoulder to shoulder, and the defender kind of didn't hit it with the serious, and David just hustled basically and got a half step in front, which meant then the defender panicked and fouled him, and that was that. And so the effort that we've seen from him is extremely good so far. His creativity is good. He had a very clinical goal as well, which is the one-footed curler past the keeper, impossible to stop.
Yeah.
Last season, he was blasting that over the crossbar. So if he takes that step and starts doing that, also with Mark Dos Santos, when we interviewed him, we talked to him about a 10, because LAFC has not played with a 10 for a long time at all under Cherundolo. The closest was kind of Carlos Vela, who, similar to Messi, kind of plays the 10 from the right wing. So he had – one thing he talked is David Martinez cutting inside, and he thinks he's a lot stronger inside. And I would tend to agree with that. A lot of us have tended to agree with that, because he's a very good tight dribbler. So he kind of cuts inside more, and that's what I think we need to do. So if he can add the threat along with Bouanga and Son, it's going to be close to impossible to defend us.
And as far as weaknesses are concerned, I mean, the only thing that I can see as a weakness is maybe because, you guys push up on the attack so far that on any sort of turnover, we can be able to probably counter pretty quickly. Would that be considered, I guess, a weakness, or is there any other weakness that maybe we should be worried, that we should be looking out for?
Yeah, I think the weakness is going to be the back line, which I think is also very similar to Miami.
Yeah,
Um, because our midfield, if when we get into that, we've made some good upgrades there as well. But our back line again, we can get caught, I think, in transition, and that's going to where we're going to struggle. Tafari, he's a defender that probably, you know, no disrespect to him, but he's probably not a starting 11 level guy. He's probably
yeah.
your third or fourth center back you want, but with Long injured, he's one of the guys that
You
might
got
be
no
in
other
there.
choice.
We also have Eddie Segura. Eddie Segura in 2019 was very nearly MLS best 11 defender, had a blown ACL. The surgery didn't go good. It kind of a Ricky Pooch scenario where he basically spent 2 years out on a knee surgery that had complications, had to get another surgery. And it took him 3 years to really come back. And he's never quite been that same player. But he's a solid center back, But again, he's not if you're having two center backs, he's you want him as a reserve off the bench. If you have problems, he'll get you through. But if you're really gonna have an ironclad back line, it's you might want a little bit of an upgrade. So we don't our back line is a little bit shaky.
Well, and yeah, I wanted to bring up this comment here. Well, hold on to that comment if you can, Danny, because I want to bring up another one. Because you were just speaking about fullbacks and the back line, and SPH is saying the fullbacks better be Mura and Frey. And here's the thing: I don't think that Mura is going to get the start at left back. I think it's going to be Noah Allen. I mean, am I wrong here, Danny, or do you see it being different?
I mean, that's what they ran out in the preseason, so I would assume the same. I think that they might try out Noah Allen, and if he fails, maybe they'll experiment with Mudolph on the left side. Now, this comment by Big Niesti.
Interesting.
The billboard only shows RDP and Allen, no Messi. I don't think that he's playing that game. I think that they canceled the Puerto Rico game to make sure he was healthy enough to play this game, obviously. Big for MLS. And after that, he has to play the Puerto Rico game. And then after that, he never plays in Orlando, so he's probably not playing that game. They're going to say that he needs to rest or he has a tight hamstring or something. And he's not going to go to DC because DC is right before the Champions Cup game. And they're going to make sure that he's healthy enough to play the Champions Cup game. So, and I feel bad because you probably spent money because you want to see Messi up there. So maybe I'm wrong, and for your sake, I hope I'm wrong. But I don't think he's playing in Orlando or in DC.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I don't think so either. I don't.
So you guys, who are you going to have at left back who's got to go up against Bouanga now? Noah Allen versus Bouanga. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it's I feel
gonna be.
good about my score predictions on my earlier show, which I'm sure
Bouanga's running down the right side.
No, oh yeah. Sorry, no, right side. No, that's Martinez. Sorry.
Frey's gonna lock him up.
But Martinez.
No, Bologna, Frey's good.
Look, as long as we don't foul. How did Bologna score yesterday?
Yeah, 3 goals, Danny.
He scored a penalty from David Martinez.
No surprise.
His second one was assisted by Heung-min Son, run of play. And and
he's just looking for another penalty here.
Yeah, I mean,
no, Son. There was 2 penalties. Bouanga took 1. Son took the other. Bouanga got 2 in the run of play.
I've never seen a team get so many PKs as LAFC. It's crazy to me.
Well, teams, because our defenders are very hard to defend, and people basically get beaten by them, and they have to take a chance.
We have players that are very hard to defend
answer,
also,
Eric.
and somehow we've only taken 2 PKs in 2 years.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess your players got to try harder.
That is great.
But no, I mean, again, and I'm sorry. The thing is, Heung-min Son makes more money than the entire Real Hispana team. So I mean, you got guys that they're technically professionals, but they're professionals in the Honduran league. And typically like Olympia and Montagua, those are the 2 big powerhouses. Real Hispana isn't usually in the CCL, the CCC mix. And I think this is partly because they expanded the tournament. So we're now starting to see teams that normally aren't in this, such as you had like Ottawa, who played against Nashville yesterday. And you also had the other second division Canadian team that played Monterrey, I think, up there. So we're this tournament now is getting some teams, much like the World Cup coming up, that normally aren't there. So we're going to see some teams that don't have the quality that we're used to seeing, and they're going to get beat up by big teams like ours. And since you have the bye, these teams will probably all be knocked out by the time you get there. But future years when you start playing, the 30th to 32nd ranked, like, we're going to get some big lopsided scores.
Yeah, for sure. And that's when you have the academy players jump in there and stuff like that.
So, Danny, how's Miami going to win?
Oh, isn't that the question for Eric?
Oh, they're not.
They're
not winning.
Yeah.
No. And I'm pretty pragmatic.
Ian Frey, this is going to be his coming out season, and he's going to lock down Bogdan. Bogdan's not doing shit this weekend.
Okay, but then who's locking down Sonny?
Yeah, there is a problem there.
Fine.
I mean,
I never predicted a clean sheet. I'm just saying Bogdan is not going to do shit. Look, Sonny might get his.
And then Martinez is turning it up. He's got goals and assists. We had Tim Tillman with a back heel goal.
Oh, please don't say Tillman is one of the worst players I've ever seen in my life.
Man, last year I was salty on him too, but he was actually playing in somewhat of a 10 position yesterday as well. He was playing attacking midfielder up behind Son, which I haven't seen. Tillman's best qualities are his pressing and his work off the ball, and there's some players. He's a good destroyer. Like last year, Latif Blessing was one for us as well. That's just, off the ball, monster. On the ball, not so much, but Tim Tillman had a freaking back heel goal yesterday. So
that was a back heel goal, Danny. It was a problem.
Tillman sucks.
Yeah.
All right. So I missed the first half of the show. I don't know at what point you guys are at on the show.
Yeah, I mean, basically we finished up strengths and weaknesses. We talked about if there's going to be a sellout at the stadium, went over the starting 11, and now it's time to whisper in some ears, Danny.
All right, let's whisper in some ears. So, wait, before we go in there, who's injured going into is Schaffelberg's injured?
Oh yeah, Schaffelberg is injured. He is injured.
Okay, who else is injured?
Hey, Schaffelberg's.
That's pretty much it. I mean, I can get into probably our starting lineup. The one difference, like I said before, is that we will probably have Ryan Hollingshead playing instead of Nico Tafari. So it'll probably be Hollingshead, Segura, Ryan Porteous, and Sergi Palencia on the back line. Hugo Lloris in goal. The player that's really surprised everybody is Canadian Stefan Eustachio, who we picked up from Porto. Just laid a dime onto Son, who had the assist for the Boanga goal. Like, he's basically a playmaking six, and with just like an absolutely gorgeous long ball. He's going to be there. Tillman is going to be playing probably in a progressed position, and we'll see how much you might hate him even more after this game. We'll see. And then Delgado will probably round out the midfield, and then we will have, Boanga, Son, Martinez. I think so too. There's a possibility Ordaz starts on the right, who's also been playing very good, but we'll see.
Oh my God, if you Danny playing that 10 role, you guys are cooked. Oh my God.
I mean, Danny, I don't know.
No way that Tillman's playing that role.
You got to watch the highlights. I mean, are we done on Saturday? Is it over?
Oh, man. And sorry, I know it looks weird because I just changed it over to the Battered MLS fans background, but it's because I know that's where we had the projected 11 for LAFC, so I just wanted to take a look.
Yeah, that's the same. Mine's the exact same.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the fact that Tillman's there makes me feel a lot better. I'll tell you that.
Wow. Danny, we have a super slam here from John Paul. Okay.
All right. And I just lost. There it is.
And John Paul is asking, Eric, turn your question around. And who's defending Messi, Silvetti, Beterame, and Allende?
Is how many minutes is Messi playing?
Oh no, he's got to go at least 80 plus.
Okay.
Like there's no way they're subbing him off. They're not subbing him off after 50.
They're not subbing him off unless they have to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think tomorrow's going to be I think this weekend's going to be a shootout. because I think both teams have completely
Bet the
stacked
over.
attacks, and both teams have back lines as a liability, and we both have good goalkeepers that we're trying to like figure out how to help. You guys picked up St. Clair, who's a great shot stopper. Lloris is still pretty good. So it's going to come down to basically who can score more goals on the other back line. I think that's this game.
Did Batterame for sure get his green card already? His work visa, I mean?
Yeah, he practiced with the team. So like
Okay.
that means
Okay. No,
he's
yeah, that's
like
fine.
working. So
I was
he's
worried
good.
that Suarez might end up starting.
No, he's locked and ready to rock and roll.
Okay. Well, it's going to be an interesting game, that's for sure. So, Eric,
Yes.
you're a degenerate gambler.
I am.
And you put the house, literal house, on Miami. You don't know why. You just felt
might
it.
as well.
And then Saturday morning comes, you get some little butterflies in your stomach. You're like, ooh, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. Now I need to make sure Miami wins or I'm fucked. So you make your way all the way to LA, get into the stadium somehow. You go up to Mascherano because for some reason you have access to him, and you whisper in his ear, "This is how you beat LAFC." What are you telling him?
Oh man, how?
Hey, don't lose the house, Eric. You gotta let us know.
See, Miami always has such terrible odds to bet on them. I usually stay away from betting on them just because, like, the return, you bet like $1 and you win
it's
like
nothing.
a
You get, like,
quarter back,
20
and I'm like,
cents.
that's nothing fun to bet on that. But no, basically, I think what it's going to be is Miami. I think if they can play a counterattack, I think LAFC is going to be very vulnerable to counterattacks this season. We weren't before, but that was Toronto playing 3 center backs and basically 2 wing backs and selling out the defense and basically leaving 2 guys up front, Bouanga and somebody else. When Sun showed up, they could start to put some goals in, but we struggled to put in goals all year for that. We were one of the stingiest. I think we were 3rd or 4th from the top in points allowed. So I think that is not going to be the case. So it's just going to be a matter of winning the ball and creating transition and counterattacks. I think that's really the way that you're going to punish us this year.
Okay.
I love the
I'm calling
comment.
it now. There's going to be 1 goal that comes off of a Tillman turnover. DePaul will win the ball in the midfield off of Tillman, a bad pass. He'll spray it over to Messi real quick, and he'll catch Allende going vertical. Now, I'm hoping Allende finishes. I mean, that's still a question mark for me. But I can see, look, Tillman is going to be that X factor. If Tillman plays as bad as I predict he will, I think he'll give us 1 or 2 opportunities going in transition.
It could be, but Tillman is playing further forward and he's playing centrally now. Before he was
cooking
out to the left.
Oh yeah, and he's using Estaquio and Delgado as double 6s. Like we're basically playing more of a 4-2-3-1 now with Tillman up as kind of the center forward role because again he's good off the ball. So we're still trying to create counter pressing and turnovers, but he is trying to work more of a possession play into it, which, as I said before, is kind of when we interviewed him, he talked about using a 10. He talked about dual 10s, which I don't really know how that works at all. But Martinez kind of playing on the right wing is going to kind of have a bit of a 10 role, and I think Tillman will as well. They'll both be a little more free to roam around and do their thing, but Martinez is going to cut centrally a lot as well.
I've heard of dual 10s, but never in the MLS. I don't think you've ever seen 2 playmakers of that caliber on the same team to run that.
Yeah. We also have a Swedish kid, Bodri, that we picked up that he's not ready for the lineup yet, but one of the best attacking midfielders in the Swedish league last season. Young kid, I think he's 21 or 22, and he's over on one of our U22s. Don't expect to see him starting yet, but he's another one I think is going to slot into this role kind of up front.
Danny, Soccer Daddy's mentioning that you hate Tillman so much. If he has a good game, you're going to rage in the post game. Just like you did.
Players in the MLS that I irrationally don't like. I don't know. And I can't I just dislike them. Tillman and Uzuni. I can't stand both of those players. I don't know what it is about them. I just can't.
Those are such random players to hate.
But Uzuni is so whack.
I hate Uzuni in Austin, and I hate Tillman in LAFC. I'll give you a third, but he retired. Dax McCarthy. I used to hate Dax McCarthy.
Ah, all
He's
right.
retired now, so
you'd never have him on the show, Danny?
yeah, I would love to have him, and I would love to tell him that I used to hate him. I mean, that's respect, isn't it?
No.
You don't hate the randos. Sometimes you do. I do. All right.
All right.
Prediction time. Eric.
All right.
I know you were really excited about your prediction from earlier today, so I'm curious to hear it now.
Well, my prediction earlier was if Messi starts and plays almost all the game, it's going to be a 5-4 LAFC win. If Messi's time is much more limited, it's going to be a 5-2 LAFC win. But I think we're putting up 5.
5. Wow.
You also got to keep in mind that Miami having to go East Coast to West Coast, it's hard for teams to make that trip and travel. The one thing going, I think, is that the Coliseum, we've never played a game there. So that it'll be kind of a new stadium for us. But I think the Koreatown in Los Angeles sun effect is going to negate some of the home field Messi advantage that you guys have. I think it's going to be a smaller home away game than you guys typically have, just because the Sun fans are going to be crazy there.
No, and I think that's what makes this a marquee matchup, and it makes it so interesting. Is that I think that outside of Messi, I think Sun has the biggest star power, and that's why I want to watch it so much. And for those that you want to watch it and want, because I know some people like to watch alongs, Chris and I are actually going to have a watch along for it on the Battered MLS channel. And Eric, are you going to make it out to the game?
No, unfortunately, I cannot make it. I cannot make it to the game, so I might have to stop by.
Yeah, let's say open invite if you want to drop by and during halftime or anything, just to let us know what you're thinking so far about the game.
Yeah. I'm trying
to.
Yeah, I'm trying to pay for like a quarter of my season tickets by wait for that resale market. Just need like Messi to say I'm playing, and boom, my tickets are gonna go.
Yeah, he's playing. You'll get it. You'll get it tomorrow. The news. He's gonna play. All right, Chris, prediction.
Well, let's put up John Paul Terraza's Super Slam here. Shout out to John Paul for the Super Slam. 5 goals against starting MLS Cup defenders, former defender of the year and current goalkeeper of the year. How dare you, Eric?
We hungry, nephew. We hungry.
And then Mr. Krabs saying 3-2 Miami wins, but Sun gets a brace. And then Soccer Daddy with the worst scoreline ever.
This is crazy. Crazy.
Chris, I have a question for you. No, there's usually a lot of goals in the first couple of weeks of the season. Everybody's still getting into shape, especially defenders. Usually you see a lot of goals the first couple of weeks. I have a question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
How does it look if we lose 5-2? Like, fan base wise.
It's over, right? Like, I mean, there's no other way to react. Like 5-2.
Dane St. Clair, because everybody's already like a little questionable about him. That would forget the Flames would be fucking flying for Rocco to come in and be the starter.
The world's gonna explode.
Yeah, even if we lose, I think people would get annoyed. I mean, I would, and it's understandable. You can't win them all first game of the season, but if LAFC puts up 5, that's not a good look. No, so what's your prediction, Chris?
Well, I mean, and not only that, but this is like first big like Showtime game of the season.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be the biggest regular season game of the year. Really I can't imagine that this is gonna be a bigger one.
No way. I'm gonna go with a 4-3 prediction. Inter Miami wins. I do think it's gonna be a lot of goals. I do think it's smart betting the over, and I do think that it's smart to bet a Messi brace, and I do think it's smart to bet a Bouanga brace.
Okay.
All right. Bouanga's not getting locked down.
No, Bouanga's not scoring shit.
No, I think that Bouanga's going to get the brace because he can score goals. And I mean, look, he had 3 up against, Real España, which I know is Real España, but like he scores goals, Danny. You can't just hate on him and say he only scores pens.
Well, you know what? Since Sun arrived, he did score a lot of goals because before Sun got there, his season, he went from like season to like MVP candidate after Sun got there.
Look, Bouanga is the only MLS player to score over 20 goals on 3 consecutive seasons, and it's gonna be 4 after this one. So don't put the man's goal scoring ability down.
He's not getting one this weekend. Watch him get one in the first 90
not
seconds.
Even one. I mean, you can't even give him one. Well,
he's not getting one this weekend.
John, before you do your prediction, Danny, John Paul with another super slam here. He says, so Eric thinks they'll score the same as they did against España when we are professionals.
Look, teams have gotten 5 dropped on them in MLS before, you know.
Hey, didn't Minnesota drop 5 on us last year, or was it Chicago? Somebody dropped 5 on us.
And look, the thing is we have a new coach, Mark Dos Santos. It's going to be a different look that the team has that we've started to see a little bit. And one of the things from his post-game presser yesterday that I really liked is he basically told the team, we're going to come in here. This team is, you know, they don't have the level we have, but we are going to stay disciplined and we're going to stay hungry at this and we are going to focus and we're going to be professionals at this. And they went in there and they put up 5 goals in the first half. Like, at no point did they hold back or do anything. They did their job and they had like a drive and intensity to them coming right out that I don't usually see with teams with their first game. If they can come out with that same intensity and Miami can't match it, you know, I think they can catch Miami sleeping.
And I mean, I do believe that can pan out, Danny. Like this team is definitely capable.
Okay. I'm going to go 2-2 draw.
Oh my gosh, man. You're so whack.
That's what I think is going to happen. I think that both teams will play it safe to start the game. I don't think anybody's going to be pressing too much. I think they're going to feel each other out the first 10, 15 minutes, and you might get a goal in the first 25 by either team, and I think eventually it'll be a 2-2 draw.
All right. Chris reacted like he just
hates
ate
when
that
I say that.
It was like you just ate that piece of cake that he was saving in the fridge for later, and he just goes to the fridge and that cake's gone, and he's just like, "Oh, it was Danny."
It's mortifying. This guy eats the cake every single day. And by the way, I just want to make sure: this is an Arsenal guy, right?
No,
Arsenal. Remember Arsenal guy?
Yeah,
well,
from 2 years
Arsenal
ago.
for life. North London Iser 917 is saying LA Galaxy.
This is how fucking stupid Carson people are. Like, dude doesn't even know. Like, oh, I'll put an Arsenal thing, and then the only thing missing is calling me a fucking Levas. Like, man, come up with some new shit.
And I mean, Cuba Rick just said this is a test for Inter Miami backline. I guess you could say that. I mean, they're going to push so far up. Like, they're
not going to play against a better.
Safety.
The only attack that's going to be comparable to this one this year that Miami plays against is maybe Chicago and Nashville. Outside of Chicago and Nashville, I don't think that there's anything that comes close to what they're going to face this weekend against LAFC.
Well, I mean,
off the top of my head,
Charlotte's not bad. I mean, it's not top tier, but Charlotte's is not bad.
Fucking whack ass Saha, get out of here.
Midfield wise.
Yeah, and I think this game, if we meet up again later in the season, it's going to be a much different thing. You know, like opening weekend is full of all kinds of question marks.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, look, after week 1 last year, Jaden Nelson looked like he was going to be the MVP of the league because he balled out for Vancouver. And look, by the end of the season, he wasn't even starting. So, all right. Vancouver not going to be good. They probably are, but I don't think Miami plays them in the regular season. I'm talking about strictly about people that play against Miami. I think that this is going to be the best attack that they play against this season. Nashville is going to be good in the attack. And who else did I mention? Chicago, I think, is going to be really good in the attack also.
Chicago is going to be a beast.
Yeah. So outside of those teams, Austin. Probably they play Austin. Austin might be good also.
Yeah, and New England.
Come back healthy. Oh, shut up.
I thought I'd be able to squeeze that one in there.
Eric, as always, you appreciate. Oh, go ahead, Chris. You're going to say something.
No. In the East, I was going to say Toronto's going to spend a bunch of money on guys that don't work, and probably Atlanta too.
I'll say last. I know. You know what? good for them.
Both those
Poor
teams,
guys.
yeah, they spend dumb money, man. Like
Yeah.
22 million on that guy. Like he didn't
Home
do shit.
Depot money is dumb money.
And then the whole Toronto fiasco, like a couple of years ago with those Italian fellas. It's like, man, those guys were
Yeah, they didn't work either.
almost as bad as Higuain.
You know, I thought Bernadeschi
Nothing
was
about
actually gonna pan out decently better, but that was a complete letdown.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'm trying to think, and no, I can't think of any other team that has a great attack. All right, well, like I was saying a couple of seconds ago, Eric, we appreciate as always you taking the time to join us. Let everybody know where they can find you if they want some more LAFC talk.
Yeah. You can find me, Eric Hulstrom, on Twitter. We are Section 128 LAFC Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, and you can find that on Twitter as well. But mostly I'm just out there. Half of my posts are shit posts, or they're about food, and then the other half are about LAFC.
Hey,
I appreciate, by the way,
entertaining,
Eric. I just want to say thank you for backing me up against this Boston guy that was completely hating.
Dude, that was, I swear, that was one of those like pro rel robots.
I know. And
pretty
listen, I get trapped in the quicksand with any pro rel conversation.
I know,
try
me
to
too.
avoid it, but it's just so hard to avoid that. And I appreciate the backup there.
Yeah, they're like in the Land of the Lost, those like lizard people that are super slow. Like that's like the pro rel people. Like they're just these goofy like enemies that aren't really threatening, but you're just like, man, you guys are so annoying.
Yeah, because I mean, it's never gonna happen. Everybody's like, "Oh, USL is gonna take over MLS." No, it's not. It's not. Shout out to SPH. Houston has an also yes, but
no, yeah.
I was just talking about teams that play against Miami this year. Houston doesn't play Miami.
Houston's definitely has, I think, dark horse potential this season. You know, I don't think they'll get over the hump, but I think Houston possibly could be like a top 4 and make some noise.
Yeah, we're doing a Battered MLS fan show tomorrow where we just give our straight predictions, and they're not my dark horse, but I have a dark horse. Last year, my dark horse was Philadelphia, and I remember I have a soundbite of Fabian talking shit about my pick for Philadelphia. They ended up winning the Supporters Shield, so suck it, Fabian.
Yeah, I mean, well, speaking of Fabian, I guess that San Jose they could have a chance of being a dark horse, but San Jose is going to San Jose at the end of the day.
Timo Werner joined before everybody left, and then everybody left. He might regret that point.
Yeah, no,
and I think Orlando's strategy of going full Brazilians actually is kind of smart. So
yes, going back to the roots.
Oh, 100%. No, 100%. There's the biggest Brazilian population in the country is around the Orlando area, like Central Florida.
I wasn't aware.
Yeah. Well, my wife's Brazilian, so I know for sure. Like, there's a lot of Brazilians around Orlando and Central Florida.
Well, Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, has a school, a football school down in Orlando, academy. I've driven by a few times.
Ronaldo Fenomeno?
Was that what they called him? I don't remember calling him that.
The number 9 Ronaldo, right?
Yeah. No, the original Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo.
Yeah, that's Ronaldo Fenomeno.
Phenomenal. I never heard him called that.
That's what he's called.
Well, Eric, again, appreciate you taking the time. And like I said, we're going to have a watch along. Hopefully, Eric can stop by. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you follow Battered MLS fans. That's what we're going to be doing the watch along, because this is a big MLS. This is the marquee regular season game of the season. Because if you look down the list, there's no other, because the biggest games would be East-West, right? Because the other games are within the conference. They always play each other. These are the 2 biggest teams, 2 biggest names, player-wise. So this is a big moment for MLS.
This is the consensus before the season starts. The MLS Cup matchup, the best. I mean, this is the predicted best team in the West versus the predicted best team in the East.
Yeah,
and this is going to open the entire MLS season. It's like the very first game. Enjoy, open with a bang. Here we go.
Absolutely, and that huge stadium. It's going to be fun. So yeah, make sure you jump on and we do, like I said, watch along. Battered MLS fans, make sure you join us because it should be a fun show. Chris, any final words?
No, man. I can't wait to watch the game. Finally getting into the week 1. It's going to be fantastic. I'm ready to just binge on MLS games this weekend.
Yeah, it starts with a weird game though. It's like St. Louis against I don't know who. Like against Charlotte or something. Like, it was a really weird game to start the year at like 2
I'm
o'clock.
watching every game I can.
But it starts at 2 o'clock. And
Oh
then
man,
it goes
I
after
love
that.
Mamadou Fall, who St. Louis got. I fucking love that guy. Like, man, he is one of the nastiest center backs you're gonna see.
Yeah, I know. We were talking to Chris from St. Louis Soccer Show, and
On the
he
preview.
was just talking so good about him.
He is one of the most violent center backs I have ever watched. Like his
And
first
supposedly a
game,
killer in set pieces.
oh no, he's a beast, man. Like his first game with when he got called up on LAFC because we got an injury, he injured like 2 guys on 50-50 balls. Just like, man, he's a mean center back, like in the best way, like the kind you love to see, intimidator.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Cuban Rick, you are right. He is going to be available. He is going to play. Expect that news to come out tomorrow, probably, because they want to announce it as early as possible so that Eric can sell his resale tickets. So don't worry. That news you'll be hearing it probably tomorrow. It's gonna happen. All right. If you're listening on audio, appreciate you listening to the end. Please leave us 5 stars and a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. And we will be back on Saturday on Battered MLS Fans for the watch along, and then post game for our post game show. So make sure that you hang out with us on Saturday. And then if you are a member, we'll be back tomorrow. No, wait, today's Wednesday.
2 days.
Friday morning for La Ventanita. We do a show with our members when we drive to work and we just talk crap. So make sure you tune in for that. So until the next one, have a good one.